what a government does or didn't do will certainly have an impact on the survivability of your poultry farm. So in this video, I want to share with you some of the promises made by the presidential candidate of Labour Party and how it will affect your poultry farming business positively, either as a farmer or as someone who wants to start poultry farming. And the video is starting right now. Two weeks ago, I went to NESA headquarters to make inquiry about agric loan. Yes, there have been many informations online about how NESA gives loan. You hear this guy got loan from NESA, this guy got. We've applied online and all this for years and nothing has been working. So since I'm very close to Abuja now, Nasarawa, I had issues that brought me to Abuja. I decided to walk into NESA office, just close to CAC office. On getting there, the security didn't allow me to enter. After inquiring why I came, and then he redirected me to their other office near Barnes Plaza in Wuse, just opposite Bon Hotel. He said, there is where I can make this kind of inquiry, since here is headquarters. So, getting there, the receptionist just told me plain that there is no agric loan at the moment. I asked him, has it already been done this year? He said no. I asked him, when will it be done this year? He said he has no idea. I felt like a whole 2023, when people are being encouraged to enter agriculture, especially poultry farming, there is no loan. Running farm is not easy. Yes, I run a farm. This farm has been sustained and from our personal money, not from government. Yeah, we've collected loans from family and friends, but you know one thing about collecting loans from individual, the repayment time is just very short. Although most times they don't come with interest, which is good, but the repayment time is so short that you have to just focus on paying back this loan before you have your own free peace of mind and also maintain your family and friend relationship. So one of the presidential aspirants of Labour Party has promised that he will make Bank of Agriculture the #1 bank in Nigeria. Let me ask you, do you know where Bank of Agriculture is in your state? It's dead. If you want to try, if you argue this with me, just walk down to any Bank of Agriculture in your state. Don't enter inside. Just look at the premises from outside. Ask yourself, can this premises give me loan? Then after asking yourself that question, you can now walk in and go make inquiry whether you can get an agric loan. So now this presidential candidate is promising to make this same dead Bank of Agriculture #1 bank in Nigeria. How will this benefit you as a poultry farmer? Loan. You can't run your business, you can't run your poultry farm without loan. You can decide to use your personal money, but using your personal money to run a poultry farm, you'll be running small. You will just be constrained with budget. You know one thing about poultry, whether broilers or layers, it's a game of numbers. The more birds you have, the more profit you make. The more laying birds you have, the more profit you make. The more broilers you raise, the more profit you make. So using your own personal money to run a farm, oh man, you have to do many batches to even get money. And the more you're getting money, inflation is coming, and it's just like you're just running around the same circle. Yes, you're touching a little bit of profit, but it's not moving well. So what did this presidential candidate of Labour Party promise? He promised to make this Bank of Agriculture the #1 bank in Nigeria, to the extent that all the commercial banks, all the Zenith banks, all the GT banks, all the Access banks, all the First banks, all of them will be mandated to be shareholders in Bank of Agriculture. When this happens, getting loan from any of those banks will be very, very easy for you. He even promised that federal government fund will be in Bank of Agriculture. State government money will be in Bank of Agriculture. Guy, you're a farmer. Mommy, you're a farmer. Dad, you're a farmer watching this. You need loan that is well spread. I went to one of the commercial banks to get loan. I want to raise layers, just 2,500 of them. To raise layers, you need to have at least enough money that will carry you raise these birds from day old to when they start laying. These birds get to start laying around 18 weeks. At times it gets to 20 weeks. So at least from estimation, I need to have this fund on hand. Money that will be enough to carry them to 20 weeks. I have a little, like 75%. I already have them, but the remaining 25, I need that. So I went to one of the commercial banks to request for a loan of 2 million naira. And getting there, I was told that there is threshold to this loaning stuff. They will be able to give me 750,000 naira. And when I'm able to pay up that threshold, when I'm able to pay up, they will now increase my threshold. They will gradually be increasing my threshold. How can I run a farm when I've not even gotten the complete money? I won't even be able to pay back that 750,000 naira because the money will not help me achieve to point of production. It will only be rearing period, and I won't still be able to reach the producing time for me to be able to repay back this loan. So that's where this Bank of Agriculture stuff is really, really, really important. Another promise the presidential candidate of Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, made is about insecurity. Everybody might think insecurity is none of their business because you stay in town, or you're a farmer the farm is located somewhere that is more secured. But as a poultry farmer, have you considered why the cost of feed are high? Do you think the cost of feed is high because the price of corn increased or what? It's insecurity. Insecurity affected the price of feed by we have less farmers producing the nutrients, the feed ingredients required in making each bag of feed. Let's use for instance corn. Corn consists of up to 50 to 70% of every bag of feed. Now we have insecurity down over somewhere in the north. We have insecurity where affects farmers the most. We have number of people going to farms everywhere in this country right now have reduced because of insecurity. Now Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of Labour Party, is promising that he will deal decisively and responsively to security issue. When this is done, you have more people going to farm. And when more people go to farm, most of the feed ingredients required to make feed will be readily available. Because it is readily available, certainly it will be cheap. And when it's cheap, you can get this meal your own feed yourself and everything will be cheaper. You can also buy commercial feed, it will be cheaper. When the raw material is cheap, you do the calculation, everything will be cheap. So guys, I don't want to really stay here and read someone's manifesto. There's a lot of manifesto, but what we just need is implementation. The presidential candidate of Labour Party has been known to finance farms. The biggest rice farm in Kano State was financed by him as a banker. Imagine he did this. He's not even the president and he financed a big rice farm. You can just go to Kano, make inquiry about the biggest rice farm. Imagine him being the president and then implementing this Bank of Agriculture stuff, making it easier for us to access loan. Imagine him dealing with insecurity, making it possible for farmers to go back to the farm so that these raw materials will come down and make things cheaper for the farmers. Guys, there are a lot of manifestos. People have written the best manifestos everywhere, but what we just lack is implementation. And here we have someone who is good in character, competent, committed, and compassionate about humans and farmers as a whole. And it doesn't just end there. He always concludes by saying, hold him and Daddy responsible if anything goes wrong. Guys, vote Labour Party in this forthcoming election.